Hey, what's up, guys? Today we are going to be doing a knife video, but not really a knife review per se. We're going to do something a little bit different. This is something that I'm going to open up to pretty much everyone out there on YouTube, and we'll get to that in just a second. What we're going to talk about today is twofold. Number one, the first knife that I was given, and number two, the first knife that I bought myself. And again, I'm going to open this up to everyone out there on YouTube, whether you're a content maker or reviewer like me, or whether you just collect knives and have never put up a video before. You know, I welcome all comers on this, and would hope that you would submit a video reply on this, just showing everyone not only your first knife that you were given, but also the first knife that you purchased yourself. But I'll go ahead and get into mine here. Okay, we'll start with the first knife that I was given, since that predates the first knife that I bought myself. This was actually a gift from my father, who gave this to me when I was probably 7 or 8 years old, something like that, when I was in the Cub Scouts. And since I didn't have a knife of my own, he actually gave me his knife that he had in the Cub Scouts. As you can see, it's pretty beat up, guys. This is probably from the late 40s or early 50s. I'm not exactly sure who makes it, but on the blade it says, I know you can't see it, but it says Powell Blade Company, made in USA. So I've never heard of them. I did a little bit of research on it, but couldn't find out much about it. But he carried this knife with him when he was in the Cub Scouts / Boy Scouts. He was actually a Boy Scout overseas in Japan. My dad was a military brat, so he's been almost everywhere in the world. And as I can imagine, this knife has probably seen a lot of action. You know, the Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts back then was a little bit different than it was now. I mean, you know, routine, overnight, you know, weekend camping trips was like regular. When he was in Japan, they climbed Mount Fuji, and you know, just he's got sticks, you know, showing where they burn little notches in it for each station that you get, you know, on the way up to the peak of Mount Fuji. Is really cool. And I'm sure this knife was right there in his pocket, you know, helping him out doing camping and hiking chores and stuff like that. And I've kept it all these years. You know, it's just for sentimental purposes. You know, I haven't really used this. It's a little bit beat up. But just, you know, figured I'd hold on to it and, you know, maybe give it to one of my kids someday. You know, I guess we'll see about that. But so that's the first knife that I was given. This is the first knife that I got for myself. I got this not long after I received this one, probably within the same year. So you can see right there on the handle, guys, if I can get the freaking camera to focus, it says Cub Scouts of America, BSA. And this is the standard Camillus knife. I believe they still do make this. I correct me if I'm wrong here, but it says Camillus, New York. And I actually got this from selling popcorn in the Cub Scouts. And little story for you. When I went out to sell popcorn, it was a little bit different than it is now with the Cub Scouts / Boy Scouts. Now, as I understand it, one of my nephews is a Cub Scout, and they have things like they can, you know, sell things online and stuff like that. You know, they can direct people to a website where they can buy popcorn from them and stuff. And back when I did it, guys, we didn't have any of that. We really had to go door to door and just cold sell people. And when I was doing it, it was in the late fall / winter, really cold, and I was just basically out there walking in a neighborhood with my little radio flyer wagon behind me, you know, hauling popcorn behind me. My father was following me in the car, you know, and would reload my stash every time I ran out. And you know, it was just going door to door and knocking them out. And I really didn't have any, you know, any aspirations for, you know, victory or anything like that. Really, the only motivation that I had for selling popcorn that year was to get this knife. You had to sell 45 buckets of popcorn to get it, and that was my goal. And it turns out I actually sold a lot more than that. I think I sold 70 or 80, something like that, something ridiculous at the time. And as it turns out, you know, when they were doing the prizes that night, you know, handing out the popcorn awards and things, and I was just, you know, eager to get my knife. It turns out that I actually set the pack record at that point, and I sold more than even the guys that were above me. And I was just a little Cub Scout. You know, I wasn't a Bear Scout yet, or, you know, a Weeblo or Boy Scout or anything like that. And I outsold the kids that were, you know, 4, 5, 6 years older than I was. And I had no idea that was going to be the case, but I got a, you know, special award and stuff like that, and they made a big deal and called me on the stage, and, you know, parents clapping, you know, all that kind of stuff. So that was pretty cool. You know, it's definitely it was cool to be the big shot for a night. But again, all I really cared about and all I really wanted at that point was my knife, and I worked really hard for it, and I earned it. I carried this thing for years. It had a little attachment so you could hook it onto your belt loop there, and it was really cool. When they actually taught us knife whittling skills in the Cub Scouts. I started out carving soap and stuff like that. Then we moved on to wood, and it was really neat. It was really a neat experience. To do as a kid. But anyways, that pretty much wraps up my two knives. The first knife that I was given and the first knife that I purchased myself. Well, I didn't purchase this with money. I did kind of purchase it with hard work. So again, I open this up to all of you out there. Just show us either or. The first knife you were given or the first knife you bought. If you've got both, do them both, and just tell us your story. Tell us a little bit about the knife, who gave it to you, how you acquired it, etc. And I guess we'll see where this goes. Well, thanks so much for watching, guys, and I guess I'll see you next time.